the 34C in
the server,
format?
the public portal is actually a server, runs on a server. And all the forms were uploaded through the August period, September, October, November. And maintaining the server being an expensive affair, I think the commission deactivated it at the end of November because it requires a lot of money to maintain the firewalls. So if you logged in now,
yeah,
it will not be there. But it was there up and running until November.
We can always get
30th November. And that evidence is there.
So you're saying there's evidence that it was actually uploaded on the system?
All the forms.
Not the forms, not the forms. You know the law says...
And that 4C was not just uploaded, but shared again with hard copies were shared with all the presidential candidates and the agents subsequent to the declaration, during declaration and after. So they were uploaded and they were shared. So those documents are out there.
So the meetings again of 3 a.m. and 2 p.m., there were no results. Peter likes saying that I like legal maxims, law maxims. You know the maxim, ex nihilo nihil fit.
Sorry?
Ex nihilo nihil fit. Nothing comes out of nothing. So if there were no results, there was nothing to be moderated. There was nothing to be discussed.
Well, that's your opinion, but the commissioners were part and parcel of the process, and the exercise has been completed.
I'm saying, that is, I mean, that's a legal principle. Nothing comes out of nothing. By the way, the results that the commissioners kept going to read to the public, you're aware they were handwritten. They were never typed.
Well, the process, just to take you back, the Form 34S came with the returning officer together with 34B, and where there were a bit of errors in the Form 34B, it was corrected, and before posting into populating the Form 34C. So where there were those corrections, I think that could be on the Form 34B. And that's where the handwritten issues may be coming in. But whatever was written was in agreement with agents and the teams that were on there.
No, but I'm saying they were just handwritten for the record. They were not...
not all of them, but
most of them.
A number of them.
Just to go back, when... you know, you've been with the three commissioners, Molu and Gulia, for basically 6 years. So you had built a kind of a comradeship with the three of them. When the four joined you in September, did you do anything to bond the groups, the two groups, to gel? Did you create a unified commission?
About comradeship, I don't know. We were just working.
I mean, it's public perception. It's public knowledge, Chairman, that we always saw the three of you and the other four were together. The three of you were separate, so I don't know, maybe it's public perception, we have it wrong.
I don't know where you saw. In the commission, we worked together, and ask your client, everybody we were free with each other, and we took all the trouble to ensure that the new commissioners were up to speed, including. But
did you gel the groups? Did you try to create one unified commission?
We had various retreats. We had trainers. We bonded and we gelled, and we took them through the process of elections, which it's documented.
When you finished reading the results on 15th of August, you told us, the other commissioners said they went to hide. Did you also go to hide?
No, I went to my house, okay. And I was in my house throughout. I didn't go to hide anywhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you know Peter Chelanga? Have you met him, a person called Peter Chelanga?
No, I've not met Peter Chelanga.
When you had the issue of the materials at the airport, when they were seized, the election materials, and somewhat it was resolved, it didn't have a role in the resolution of the. Okay. Let me ask a blunt question: did you meet the president to resolve the issue?
On which materials?
When they were seized at the airport from those, what is it, Venezuelans, or what? There were some materials you seized at the airport, which was public knowledge.
Yes.
Did you meet the president to resolve it?
No, I didn't meet the president, but the issue was resolved.
When the Venezuelans were arrested, did you meet the president?
During that time?
Yes.
When?
The Venezuelans were arrested.
No, I did not meet the president.
Did you talk to him?
No, I didn't talk to the president.
And the materials were seized, did you talk to him?
No.
But they were somewhat resolved.
I spoke with the Director of Criminal Investigations and the Inspector General of Police on those issues.
As I say again, Chairman, all these things one day will come out, how it was done. But for now, we'll just leave it like that. When did you know, at what point did you know the results were ready to be announced?
At what point?
Yes, what time of the day?
What time, when Marijan brought them, I can't tell the exact time, but it was around, maybe around 4 p.m. or thereabouts.
So this was 15 August? 15th of August?
Yes, 15th of August.
When did you send out invites? With what date?
The invites for declaration was...
No. Yeah. To the presidential candidates, to either both or one of them, to attend the results.
I think that was done in the morning when we had finished with the verification and tallying. Then we invited them to come at 3, hoping that we've gone through all the other processes by then.
My information, Chairman, and I've seen the documents, that you can send invites on 12th of August. Can you remember?
Sorry? I didn't.
You send invites on 12th of August.
I don't think that's true. The invites must be dated. If they're here, you can show me the one. You can show me the one you are referring to.
You gave approval on 12th of August.
I don't remember that.
We'll ask again. We'll know. Chairman, do you know the 4 petitioners who have filed to remove, who filed this petition initially? There is Reverend Dennis Nzumbi, Geoffrey Langat, War Steve Jerry, and the other guy, the chairman of the other party, is called Volume 1. Zakaria Matayo.
I don't know them personally.
Have you met them?
No, except I think from what I've seen on TV, I think I can maybe pick out a few faces in this room now, but I have not met them before. So just finally,
So you're not a witness of these 4 people?
They are not the ones who brought me.
I
was brought here by
the tribunal.
Yeah, tribunal.
Just for the record, so we know
yes,
that.
I was invited by the tribunal.
So you do not play any part in preparing the 4 petitions filed in National Assembly? Did you play any part in preparing the petitions?
No, I did not.
Were you aware of them?
I was only aware when the matters went before the parliament.
But you were not aware before?
No.
Finally, Chairman, do you have confidence in the Supreme Court as an institution of this country, established by the Constitution of Kenya? Do you have confidence in our Supreme Court?
Yes, yes, I do. Well, it's part of the rule of law, and we respect the judiciary, not just the Supreme Court, but all the courts as an arm of government.
And do you have confidence in this tribunal set up by the Constitution and Article 251?
Yes, I do.
So last week when you were presenting your final post-election evaluation report, I mean, I watched you in the media again, I heard you in the media, you were calling for establishment of commission of inquiry.
Yes.
On the election dispute.
Yes.
I have read your report, the post-election report. Nowhere in the report have you made any allegation, have you made any adverse findings on the process, even in your forwarding letter, in the covering letter in the report. So I just want to understand, in what context did you now go outside the report and outside your own covering letter in the report to call for establishment of a commission of inquiry? Is it that you didn't trust or you didn't like the Supreme Court judgment, or you don't have faith in this tribunal? I just want to understand the context, because you know this process is ongoing. You knew the Supreme Court decision. So what was it that made you ask for commission of inquiry?
We ran a transparent election, I believe, free, fair, transparent election. And if you notice from the last 3 elections we have had, 2013, 2017, under the new constitution, we've been improving gradually. In the last election, everything went well except the incidents at Bomas and also in some areas like Narok and other counties where there was some violence. And where I sit, as I leave the commission, I believe that we should never have a repeat of those incidents. We must get to the root of it to ensure that that doesn't. That's the only problem we have as a country, that those incidents happen. And I believe a commission of inquiry would perhaps be the best way. And not just me, the commission actually wrote to the president to look into how that can be set up.
But yes. You know, Chairman, what I'm saying as we conclude this thing is, we had our worst election violence in 2007. Our elections were nullified in 2017. Our elections were upheld in 2022, and the Supreme Court said they were excellent elections. So I want to understand the context and your motivation in asking for a commission of inquiry in 2022, which Supreme Court found was near perfect, and not calling for 2017 inquiry, 2007, or is your memory limited, or, I mean, historical memory is limited?
Well, I don't understand the question.
I'm saying we've had worse situation. We have 2017, which we chaired, which was nullified, and there was violence in 2017. We had very limited violence in 2022, but they're very limited. But you call for commission of inquiry in 2022. So if you're saying, as you've claimed yourself by the, you know, under the Evidence Act, when you claim, you take the high road section of the Evidence Act, your own integrity must be put into question as a witness. So you've called for commission of inquiry to 2022 elections when there was no violence. We didn't have much killings. We had killings in 2007, and we had elections nullified in 2017. You were the chairman in 2017. If you are riding the high moral, I mean, you're working on the high moral ground basically, and asking for elections commission of inquiry for 2022, you should have had the same courage to ask from 2017 until now. Why didn't you ask from 2017 until 2022?
There was no violence in 2017. What we are talking about here is violence. We are talking about individuals attempting to subvert the will of the people. None of these issues were there earlier. And this can only be unearthed in,
Chairman, under your watch,
a situation
2017,
like this one.
people were actually killed in your commission. 2017, I mean 2020, there were threats, even on you. So you should have asked for actual commission of inquiry for 2017 and 2022. I'm saying, if you, following your sequence of thought, you cannot be selective on 2022 and not 2017. Chairman, just before I conclude, just before I leave you, I don't want to, the final issue. The Supreme Court judgment, my last issue, Supreme Court judgment, actually voided Regulation 87 that you kept using to run a one-man show at IEBC. You remember the regulation was nullified by the Supreme Court judgment, 2022?
Yes.
And the Supreme Court, in its finding again, Chairman, they read your affidavits, your 3 affidavits. They read the affidavits of all the other commissioners. And they came to the conclusion that the dispute between the 3 of you and the other 4 commissioners was a boardroom dispute. They had your issues in the affidavit about the 3 a.m. meetings, 2 p.m. meetings, about the press conference of Serena. The Supreme Court had all those issues, and they reached a finding. So as a chair, as a lawyer, you filed 3 affidavits before the Supreme Court, and you made all those allegations. You gave the Supreme Court all the documents which we've not been provided for. And the Supreme Court did not find anything wrong with the conduct of the 4 commissioners. They don't even find anything wrong with the other 3 commissioners. They did not find anything wrong with the IEBC as a whole. The only thing they found was that it was an internal issue, it was an administrative dispute, which should be fixed by the commission. So why do you still want Commissioner Irene Masit to be followed for the events of 15 August when the Supreme Court already had it and determined it?
Well, as I said, the Supreme Court had 9 issues for determination. 9. And all those issues were dealt with. There was no issue as to the governance structures of the IEBC. If there was, then we could have filed a relevant affidavit to that effect. But having said so, I think the recommendations of the Supreme Court is what informs part of the post-election evaluation, and I believe those issues will be addressed by the incoming commission.
Chairman, have you read of the judgment, paragraphs 2008 to 244 of the judgment of the Supreme Court? They actually made findings on the affidavits.
Yes, I'm saying the issues for determination. As a council, you know, we answer to the issues for determination. And the issue about how the commission is governed was not one of the issues. If it was, we would have filed relevant documentation to give the Supreme Court a chance to make a finding on whether the commission follows those governance structures or not. And I believe those findings could not have been the same if we had that opportunity to put the documentation before the Supreme Court.
My understanding of the judgment is that they actually reached conclusions on the conduct of the commissioners, the 7 commissioners, and made findings in paragraph 243, and the last final findings of the judgment. So again, I'm asking, if the Supreme Court had your affidavit, let's say again, let me agree with you that they did not reach a finding on it, but they had your affidavit in which you set out the disputes. You set out the meetings of 3 a.m. in the morning, or 2 o'clock Serena conference. So if there was anything wrong with those incidences, why didn't the Supreme Court decide on them? And the evidence before them?
I think that's for the Supreme Court to say. I don't know what the judges considered or did not consider, But all I know is that all those affidavits were filed around the same time on 26th, 27th, and there was no time for filing further affidavits and rebuttals and so forth because of the limited time we were given. So I believe we put what we could in terms of focusing on the issues that had been set for determination.
No, because when you spoke initially, Chairman, you were so into the word can say emotional about it, that there was like breach of the Constitution. There was like an intention to subvert the will of the people. When did you file your affidavit?
To the Supreme Court?
Yes.
I think they were done on the 26th
of August.
Of August.
The incidents you're referring to are 15th of August. You had 2 weeks to do, about 11 days to do the affidavit. So if you are so minded that there was an intentional will to subvert the Constitution or to the will of the people, because you set it out in the affidavit, and it was dealt with by the Supreme Court. So my issue is that why is it being revisited? It has been dealt with by the Supreme Court. Should it be with finality? Do you have an issue against Commissioner Irene? You don't sit in the commission?
I'm here on invitation of counsel for the tribunal. And what I came to say is that what I said in the affidavit is true to the best of my knowledge on events that happened. As for Commissioner Masit, what I've said is what she said, and that's why I'm here.
Thank you, Chairman.
Yes.
Re-examination. Yes, I'll have five issues to re-examine. Mr. Chebukati.
Yes.
At the beginning of cross-examination, you asked whether you had any issues with Commissioner Irene Masit, and then there's one specific issue you picked but you didn't explain. You said that you had an issue she had filed cases against the Commission. Kindly clarify.
Sorry,
when you were being asked whether you had any challenge or a problem with Commissioner Irene Masit,
yes,
you made a comment and said we had a case, they filed affidavits against the Commission. Kindly clarify what you mean and what was the issue here.
About the Commissioner filing affidavits?
Yes, against the Commission.
In the presidential election petitions 2022, the governments, the Commissioner Masit filed an affidavit where she deponed to the effect that she didn't agree with the election results and they should be nullified, and made various allegations which, in my view, are not true about the Commission.
Did the Commission sanction that affidavit? No. Those facts?
No, we did not.
You say they were not true?
They were not true.
Right. Second issue, page 230 of volume 4. I am aware you are not a party in this matter, but it has a gazette notice. Was it ever challenged, set before court or anything by Commissioner Irene Masit or anyone?
No issue was raised about this gazette notice until it's today I'm hearing, and I think when matters went before the Supreme Court. But the commissioners did not raise any issue.
Even in your sittings, did she ever raise any issue about these notices at all?
Absolutely not. No issue was raised about it.
It's the first time you're hearing?
Yes.
Right. Third, there's an issue raised about allocation of duties to different commissioners and staff of the commission.
Yes.
Was the Commissioner Irene Masit allocated? Did she challenge or raise issues before today?
As I mentioned, the only issue was she did not want to work with Commissioner Wanderi. When that was resolved, she continued with her duties as allocated.
Thank you.
Yes.
Second last question. There are so many questions raised on forms. right, Form 34C, and Mr. Kip Correll, counsel for Commissioner Masit, mentioned paragraph 208 to 244 of the judgment, and he mentioned it. 244A, there was a clear finding. He mentioned 244. Did the court make a finding on those issues in 244A? If yes, what?
Yes, 244A, where the court said we are satisfied as a finding that notwithstanding the divisions apparent between the chairperson and the 4 commissioners, IEBC carried out the verification, tallying, and the declaration of results in accordance with Article 138, 3C, and 10 of the Constitution. That was the finding.
So that issue settled?
Yes.
Right. The last thing, paragraph 8 of that judgment, you mentioned about the issues before the Supreme Court. Just same, the first paragraph 8 of that judgment. Remember, when you're being asked whether you have confidence in the Supreme Court,
yes,
or this tribunal, you've mentioned that there were 9 issues. Now, clarify, are those the issues that are set in paragraph 8 of the judgment, and do they relate with the issue before the tribunal, this tribunal?
I go through them?
No, just confirm whether they're the ones.
Yes, they are the ones. These are the 9 issues before the Supreme Court, which were canvassed before the Supreme Court.
Right. What about, is the issue before the tribunal part of those, was it part of the issues that were before?
The issue about?
Before this tribunal?
No, it's not part of these 9 issues.
It is not part of those 9 issues.
Yes, yes.
Many thank you, and thank you very much, Mr. Chairman members. I would leave it at that unless the tribunal members have any question.
Mr. Chebukati, we thank you for finding time to be with us, and wish you well.
Thank you.
Thank you. To leave, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair and members. On behalf of this part, we wish to say we are grateful for the indulgence and the time taken in all our witnesses. We believe we've set out good grounds, and we would wish to close it at that point and push it to Mr. Donald Kip Correll.
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, we are also grateful for the opportunity. And once Peter closes this case, us also are closing our case.
Thank you. Thank you to each one of you. We will, I think on behalf of the
Chair,
member.
probably I needed, sorry, I'm cutting you. For good order, would be glad if this is on record that he's closing his case and also is not calling any witness. So that is on record for submissions.
Donald Kipkorir is a seasoned lawyer. Once he says he's closing his case, it means he's not calling evidence. I understand you right, counsel?
That's correct. There is no other explanation. There is no other interpretation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I was saying that on behalf of the members of the tribunal, we wish to thank the respective sides led by Mr. Mungi and Mr. Kipkorir, and also thank the Commissioner for being with us throughout. We must now decide how to move on from here. I'll be expecting that within how much time we file written submissions, starting with you, Mr. Mungi. And
thank you, Chair. And from where I sit, and I must be grateful to my team, Madam Zamzam, Abib and team. We've been burning the midnight oil, and we have our submissions ready. We'd just require a day or maximum two, because maximum 2 days.
Yes.
We'll be able to do our final submissions. We are ready. We'll just need to put the input of today's witness. I initially thought I'll take a day, but let me ask for 2 days. Today is Tuesday. By close of business Thursday, we'll have filed and served.
Okay. Donald?
Yeah, Chairman, just for background, maybe sake. What happened? This is the first hearing in this country since, on issues relating to Article 251 or similar articles before. And what this tribunal is going to determine will basically lay the foundation for similar future hearings. So this, you later set the bar high or low, which depending on how whatever it comes out. And as for that, I need sufficient time to do my submissions. When we had our last meeting, I indicated I needed 14 days. I will not expand. I will have asked for more time, 21 days, but I'll stick on the 14 days we had agreed in the meeting. But I want 14 days to run from the time I receive Peter's submissions and the Hansard report. As you see, I wasn't making notes because my understanding was that there is a dictaphone and there is an answered report. So I needed the answered report and for the proceedings and then the submissions. Then I'll do my submission within 14 days from receipt of both.
How soon will the Hansard report be ready?
Mr. Chair, we have the Hansard report. We just require the last 2 days. It will probably take another 2 days for...
Another?
Another 2 days from today.
Yeah, okay.
Chairman, just before you
Yes,
give elections, just to, my student of history. The last impeachment in England happened in 18th century actually, Warren Hastings. It took 8 years. And it was the last impeachment in England. So as we are within...
when I smile, it appears to be giving you some impression.
No, I'm just telling you that...
You've asked for 14 days.
No.
Wait, you've asked for 14 days. The members have said they'll give you 14 days. So you are reading too much into nothing.
No.
Yes.
No, I was just telling you history. I was just telling you history that the impeachment of England took 8 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
This history that you've read, we've also read. So it's fine. If you'll be ready within 2 days from today, that means by Thursday, you provide the Hansard copy to Mr. Kipkorir. And Mr. Munge, you are saying that you may not need that. You've been taking notes or something. So that you'll be ready by end of Thursday.
We are talking, my team has been very efficient. We've been working on it, we've been taking notes, we are good.
Every time you say your team has been efficient, you must be saying that...
Chairman, I want to respond to Peter.
Yes.
Because when he talks about being efficient, like Peter is part of the tribunal, which is a fact. So maybe he has access to the dictaphone, the answered report in advance, which I don't have access to. I don't have an issue with it, by the way, because it's part of the team. I don't have an issue with him getting access to the answer.
No,
it's not an issue.
Yeah, the resources available to him for purposes of this tribunal will not be available to you. So that when you ask for 14 days, we will give you 14 days, okay? And so, but it's when does time begin to run? So by Thursday evening, you get your submissions and copy of the answer. Now, so the next question would be, would you require oral highlighting, or you will, once you give us your submissions, we will be through with that part of the hearing?
Now, Mr. Chairman, I prefer we do the written and then we highlight maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I don't know.
I hear him, and my Lord, Mr. Chair and members, I think what was pushing me to 2 days, and my team is just reminding me, was the provision of Rule 21.
Rule?
21.
That?
And Rule 21 says that the report of the tribunal and its recommendations shall be delivered on a date affixed for that purpose, but not later than 7 days after completion of the hearing.
We must read hearing to mean
submissions is hearing.
Yeah, submissions and the highlighting of submissions.
Yes, that's hearing.
So that's fine. That's
then I stand guided.
Thank you. So that calculate 14 days from Thursday, because then we must convene for purposes of highlighting. So it means that by the time we then come for highlighting, you'll have not only completed your submissions, but you also have served. Okay? But time begins to run from Thursday. Yes.
No, I think so that we don't fall foul of the law. We come for the highlighting maybe some days after we've filed our submissions. So that we...
No, I must accommodate you and accommodate him.
Yeah.
You have accommodated, you did, 14 days. So on the 15th day, we come back for highlighting. That's what I'm saying. So those who are calculating, so on 9th February at 10, we'll schedule for highlighting. Mr. Munge will go first, and then you'll go second, and then he'll have the usual second bite at the cherry, isn't it? But then how much time? You proposed 10 minutes, but that's...
15 minutes each. 15, and then rebuttal.
Okay, 30, then 10 minutes. Fine? Thank you. So once again, thank you very much.
Chair, before you pen off.
Yes.
Before you pen off, I had sought for a copy of the answer at the ruling. I don't know if the chair can pronounce himself on timelines when we are able to get it, so that we can seek redress as urgent as possible.
I will communicate with you. The Hansard should be ready. It's Hansard, isn't it? For his purpose, for the purpose of the application. But the ruling should be ready latest, today is Thursday.
Much obliged.
Latest Thursday.
Much obliged.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.